Greetings and welcome to Bannerlord, Tales from the Age of Men. So, we finished our Realm of Thrones series and obviously moving on to a new Bannerlord series, and I wanted to give Lord of the Rings a try. So, I haven't played this mod at all yet. I've just taken a quick gander at some of the, cultures and races and all that. But I figured, let's just see what happens, right? Now, I have a vague idea of a series goal for us to do. So let me just get in here first. Also, just in case anyone is wondering, I do not have a tutorial for downloading this mod yet, but I will link the website that has it, and it has its own installer. And if you go to the website, there will be a video how to install and what it's about if you want to do it manually or use the installer. It explains it perfectly. So yeah, just go to the website if you're interested in this mod. But here we are with all the cultures. There's quite a few, and you guys can pause and read the little blurbs about them while we just take a quick gander at their malices and positives here. Towns ruled by rulers, one militia, animals, no extra weight for mounted troops, which is really nice. More influence, slower build rate. Then you got the bardings, 20% more trade income. This is really pretty good if you want to be the merchant route. I've never even bothered looking into being a merchant, so maybe in the future, but who knows. Dunlendings. The only thing I know about the Dunlendings, obviously, is what this blurb here says, and obviously, the movie. Has anyone seen War of the Rohirrim? I'll be honest, I think it's overly hated. It's not Lord of the Rings tier, but I thought it was a pretty decent movie for, for what? A blurb in the appendices? But, yeah. And then you got the Haradrim. No speed penalty on desert. More caravan income. The Easterlings. Recruiting upgraded mounted troops. Bonus to animals. Less income. And you have the Varyags here. I've never even heard of the Varyags. 20% bonus to melee damage, which is friggin' huge, I think. I don't know. I think that's actually pretty cool. I might actually look into the Varyags more. Infantry troop wages are 15% lower. Less influence from armies. Alright, that's actually not bad. And Gondorians, obviously we all know about Gondor. No malices, you just have straight up bonuses. That's pretty broken. I like how also, it's got two positives, one malice. Except for Rohirrim, which is 4, then 1 malice, and Gondor has just 4 positives. Sylvan elves here, which is what Legolas is. Well, technically, I don't think Legolas is a Sylvan, but you know what I mean. 4 positives, 2 negatives. Then you got Mordor here, which is just 3 positives. Uruk-hai, 4 positives, 3 negatives if we want to be some Uruk-hai. Dwarves, wow, 5 positives, 2 negatives. If we wanted to do a dwarf, we did do a dwarf series for CK3, could do a callback there. Now actually I was thinking of maybe doing an orc series, but I kind of want to do an orc series for Old Realms when that comes out, and I don't want to do like 2 orc series right after another. And I'm like 80% sure Old Realms is update is going to come relatively soon, I think. So yeah, we could do dwarves. Dwarves and orcs are what's getting added in the Old Realms, so that's what I'm also really interested in for that one. But Noldor here. All right, this has been, I don't know if it's, so is it like 40% less total, or is this just not only supposed to be 1? I don't know. Gundabad orcs. I like the less daily cohesion loss, especially good when it comes to sieges. as we've learned in Realm of Thrones. Gladrum, less garrison troop wage, 25% more influence in an army, range damage, be an archer. We haven't played an elf yet. Dol Guldur, and then Umbar. A lot of sailing stuff, huh? Well, but here's the idea I had, right? We're gonna be Mordor, right? 30% bigger party size, 20% lower troop wages, 20% lower recruitment costs. But we're not gonna be an Uruk. We're gonna be a human from Mordor. Specifically, I'll say we're either from Nirn, which is near the Sea of Nirnen, or Lithlad. There are humans that lived in Nirn. And with Lithlad, it's a bit iffy if there are humans, but Lithlad actually has some pretty good farming land, and Nirn is just very fertile because it's next to the Sea of Nirnen and all that. So I'm thinking we make a human Mordorian who obviously just hates Sauron, right? We're gonna join like the good side. We're gonna and try to take Mordor, maybe. I don't know, but we'll just see. Pitch build. So let me just build up our guy here real quick, and then we'll get on to it. All right, I don't know what was going on. I just realized that the music wasn't playing, so I just had to go back to the main menu and just get it going. Hopefully this isn't going to get me copyrighted in so many countries. Well, yeah, let's just see here. All right, so there we are, and I think we're decent at the very least. So choose our family. Servant to the Dark Tower, merchants of the Black Road, slaves of Bannerlord, orc taskmasters, hunters of Gorgoroth, Uruk overseers. Family served as overseers for the Urukai legions. 10 skill levels and 1 focus point to Royal Green Polearm. Hunters of Gorgoroth. Roam the volcanic lands of Gorgoroth, hunting and tracking prey to sustain armies of Mordor. Overseeing the labors of orcs and men alike. 10 skill levels and 1 focus point to tactics and two-handed. Enslaved laborers. In athletics and one-handed. I don't know what kind of build we're gonna go for. So let's polearm and two-handed. I do prefer two-handed weapons, so there is that. But I am interested because I don't know what weapons are actually in here that's gonna be like really good. So, maybe we do Hunters of Gorgoroth. Get some bow, because I want to use the bow. And scouting, I suppose, would actually be decent, so in case enemies pop up. Do the Servant to the Dark Tower. Father was a brutal enforcer while your mother worked to instill the will of Sauron among the lesser folk. Although for our slaves of Barad-dûr would make more sense lore-wise. Yeah, you know what? For why we hate also Sauron as well. Leadership skills, fighting skills, history skills, convince others, take charge, riding polearm. We go straight for our two-handed and one-handed. Yeah, our fighting skills. Herded the sheep. I don't think there's really many sheep here. Smithing and engineering. And scouting. Hunting small game. So we can get some bow. There we go. Ooh, nice. We have no skill in polearm though. As a youngster growing up in Arda, war was never too far away. You trained with the Warg Riders. Getting a point in that would actually be good. Patrol the Dark Forest. Rolled with the Black Scouts. Riding and bow. Train with the Orc Infantry. Skirmishers. Ooh. Some of these pole arms are actually looking good. Maybe we should be a pole arm person. I know we did pole arm in our last Old Realm series as well, but... And this is why I should have looked into the weapons here, because now I'm actually curious if well, either way, I guess it's easy enough for us to switch over if we want to use any of the other weapons. So I'm thinking train with the Warg Riders, learning the Master Ferocious Beast and wield a spear and devastating charges. Patrol the Dark Fortress. Bow and Tactics. Rode with the Black Scouts. Points to riding and bow. Train with the Orc Infantry. Pole arm and one-handed. Throwing in one-handed and a point of control if we join the Shadow Skirmishers. And march with the War Host. I think we roll with the Black Scouts so we can get some riding in and have more bow. And then as our young adulthood, defeat an enemy in battle. Save your village from a flood. And tactics and leadership. This would be good because we need some leadership, I'd say. Trade and smithing though, because smithing is always a pain in the ass, but that's how you get like the really cool weapons and stuff. But I do that for like every character, so for Bannerlord, right? 10 skill levels and polearm and bow. Hunted a dangerous animal. Maybe we could say we hunted a Caragor or a Warg. A Grog if... Probably not a Grog. Famous escapade. Man, that doesn't even get us a personality option, huh? And we treated people well. Probably not the best to have treated people well in Mordor at the moment. But it does set us apart. Now we hunted a dangerous animal. Give us some more bow and some polearm. So then we just gotta focus on other things here. At the age of 20, we managed to escape from Sauron's grasp. And it's time for us to make our own way in the world. What would ours be? So we want to at least take like maybe Nirn. We saw Nirn for the first time and we saw how lush and beautiful it looked, and it was fertile and everything else. You know what? The wolf is a pretty good option. I mean, I suppose sword with the tree is also really cool. There's that one as well. That one is the dragon helm, which is really cool, but not, I don't think, for us. Let's see. I'm liking crown, just a dot. Bear. I mean, that's really cool. Ooh. I don't know what... Is it supposed to be like the Lonely Mountain, maybe? Probably something dwarfish. It's got mountains. It's got 7 stars. But I'm liking it. But I think maybe we'll change it. But I did like that wolf. So let's see here. Where was it? Oh no, that's not bad. Make it big. That's just because I like swords. Where is it? Spider, horse. There we go. At least I think it's a wolf, right? Like, that's very wolfish. You know, got the ear. Background color. So let's... Oh, wait, no. Yeah. We'll do, that. Nah, it doesn't look as good as I'd like. Yeah, that's not bad. If you guys have any suggestions on what our emblem should be, because we can always edit the banner and everything. But I suppose this is actually decent. And oof. Clan name, a family name. All right, so just taking a quick gander at this Kenya translator here, and obviously it's not, probably not gonna be one-to-one and all that, but I'm using this one here and just going around. I've thought of a good name for us since we have broken free from Sauron's grasp and just making our way on our own. We are masters of ourselves, so we are going to be, our family name shall be Ron Tour, which it comes from the words Ron, which means like self, and Tour, which is like master, lord. So basically lord of self, lord of myself and all that. We are free. Obviously it's not like really one-to-one, but I like it. If anyone knows the actual how to you would spell or say it, let me know. And we are going to just be Raid Rontour. But no, Raid the Exile. Alright. Iron Man mode, hero death. I suppose we should enable battle death for all heroes, right? So people can die. We did have that in Realm of Thrones. It didn't really come up besides Jon Snow kicking the bucket at some point, but other than that, let's just start. And we're gonna take a look at the world. Also, just as an aside here, I'm just taking a real look. I misread it at first because I typed in self, and this is the first one that popped up. I thought it would be the correct one, but no. Ron is the root word for wander, stray, meander on a uncertain course. So, still works actually. Wander, stray. We are the master of being astray, all that. Lord of ourselves. I was trying to find a good way to like say that. That's the name we took. So, hopefully it kind of fits. Yell at me in the comments if I'm making a fool of myself. Alright, so here we are. Oh shit, we're right next to Bannerlord. Well, luckily we just decided to break off and do our own thing. No one's you know, figured out our plan, so I guess it's time we can escape as soon as we can. Alright, so we have an Uruk halberd. 14 cut, huh? 34 pierce. Well, first things first. I'm assuming, yeah. No one knows our idea, so we're gonna just take a quick look here, just to take a look at some weapons. Uruk swords, legendary Morningstar, Gundabad orc mace, orc. You know what? No, actually, the best way to take a look at what weapons are around, we go through here. Okay. So, all right, so there's no like separate sections, so we just have to look through all of them. That's fine. That's all normal. Gundabad Orc. Flissa Mordor. Spatha. Ooh. Ooh, I've always liked this sword design. I don't know why. I've just always like. I think I've always called it like the armor piercer or something, the armor slayer. If anyone's seen a video or watches Scalagrim, he's got a video where he kind of makes a sword that looks like that. It's called the armor slayer, and I've always loved that sword design. Wish he like actually sold it. I'd buy it. But yeah, more Rohan swords. Falchion. Sabers. Uruk. Gondor, which looks like it's mostly regular, just swords. Boromir sword. Yeah. Isengard sword. Looks more like a chopper, but you know what I mean. Swan Knight. War Razor. Rod Scimitar. So obviously this episode is just us creating our character and getting the story, you know, settled. Wow, that's 70 damage. That's not bad. I kind of like it. Berserker Blade. Ooh. Would you look at that? There's an elven sword. That's Ghoul. Strider sword. Cascara. I will say that maybe they should have done what Old Realms and like Realm of Thrones did, and have a separate category for all the ones they've added. But that probably would take a lot of work or something. I don't know. I don't know anything about coding, so. Decorated Ild Blade, huh? Interesting. 77. Iron Hills. Oh, there we go. We got some dwarf swords. War sword. And we're getting down. Anduril sword blade. Otter on the roof. Ooh. I like that one. Ooh. Caligorm. Finarfin sword. Fingon sword. Finway. Galadriel. Golden flower. I was just looking at the damages that they did. Glamdring. Ingwe. Legolas sword. Rivendell. Obviously gonna need a new handle for that. Okay. Witch King sword. Theoden sword. Okay. Well, let's see here. Let's take a look at some pikes. Anything interesting? These looks like all normal stuff here. Isengard. Yeah. Alright. Let's take a look at two-handed maces. That's what I like. That's what I'm interested in here. Ooh. I'm not gonna lie, that actually... Obviously, you need to probably add something to make it look better, but... like... for that, I'm not entirely sure what you need to add, but... this would be cool. I just don't like how this is connected. That just might be because of the wood. Okay, that's slightly better. I really actually do. Maybe we'll be a two-hander. I want to use a big old mace Normally I like using axes and such, but you know. Ooh, big ol' hammers. Gotta hand it to the dwarves. Just so big. No. Okay, okay, fair enough. That's a troll. Uh, and dang. All right, so obviously I really like this Gundabad axe head. I mean, this one is cool too, but I like this. We would just have to find I'm assuming there's like a Gundabad. Wait, is it Gundabad or is this Dol Guldur? Yeah, it's Gundabad. Dol Guldur, Dol Guldur. Erebor. Okay, see, there we go. That kind of fits more. Kind of, but I think it need a little bit longer. Because if you were wielding this, in my opinion, having it just holding this, be too unwieldy. You need to have a hand like here and there. But what do I know, right? I don't know anything actually about such stuff, so you know, maybe something like that, and just making things smaller. Honestly, it's not bad. So maybe we will be a two-hander if we can forge something like that. But let's just take a look at axes then, because axes are awesome. Oh yeah, Erebor axe. Bonus against shields. Not usable with one hand. Man, these are, I'll be honest, these are really cool. Dying axe. I know it's Dane, but I've always thought of it as Dying. So, two-handed swords. Are these any gonna be different from the one-handed swords? Or are these just gonna be the bigger versions? Let's see if there's anything that pops out. Nazgul sword. Yeah, it looks like these are just obviously bigger versions. Which makes sense, but alright. And then let's just go for the pole arms here and see what we got. Bulge, Easterling, Glaive, Pelum, High Elven Spear, Golden Flower, Rivendell. Interesting. I'm not seeing oh no, here it is. Mordor. Whoa. The Rohan Spear. Can't swing it, but it's pretty cool. Definitely would hurt you when it's, you know, jabbed right into you after a charge from a horse. Liquid Glaives. Isengard Spear. 204 swing cut damage? God damn. By the Valar. Rod. Guldur. Gondor Spearhead. Well, I'm I'm suitably scared of some of these weapons. So let me know what you guys think, if we should do a two-hander or a polearm series again. I'm leaning towards two-handed mace, but you never know, right? See if we could, maybe we could probably find one of those. Oh, well, there we go. We don't need to make one. I like making them, but you know what I mean. Probably see if we do it in this series or not. I don't know, but we need to make we need a bow, ranger bow or simple short bow. What do we got? Speed 88, damage 56, 86, 55. But it is literally almost 3 times as cheaper than the accuracy. Well, let's keep our cash as much as we can, right? So let's just grab that. Armor. Can get the Witch King's helmet. Sauron's pauldrons. We can make ourselves look like Sauron. Interesting. Alright, Uruk sword. Yeah, they only got this stuff. Not an actual other two-hander. Alright, well that's fine. We'll pay 708 because now we have a bow. See if we can find like an actual horse that we can wield. Alright, first things first, we need to put a focus in here in leadership. And riding, athletics, crossbow, bow. Yeah, well, then we'll decide if we're doing two-handed or polearm this series. We did one-handed last one, and we did a polearm in Old Realm, so I'm thinking, like I said, the two-handed, but I want your guys' opinion. Headshot damage with bows. 20 bow skill to troops in your formation. Yeah. Extra control while moving. Definitely more useful. And should I put something in smithing? Because creating our own, two-handed weapon probably going to be easier than trying to find one of them. But I suppose we could find a companion. I don't even know what kind of companions we could find. Try to recruit some troops, but do we want to be recruiting? Damn, almost 3,000. Like Mordor troops. I mean, if there's humans, I think we can recruit like humans that we can convince to join our cause. So, I don't want trade. Orc grunt. 28 criminals. All right, don't want to be going up against them. You guys got any horses? No. You guys got any good recruits? Orc grunts. Oh, you know what? I should actually home concepts. All right, concepts. Anything here that's in particular campaign issues? No, that's all about Calradian stuff. That's fine. There's the mouth of Sauron. Yeah, he looks a lot more clean around the mouth area than he does in the movies, but yeah, it's fine. Okay, so we could take a look here. Let's take a look at the highest tier troops, huh? Tier 10. Dear Lord. Mirkwood Palace Guards. Thingle's heirs. $250, $250, $200. 300, 300, 300, 300. Dear. Dear Lord. They are quite strong. Thingle's an armored troll. Then Rivendell. All right, so the elves have the highest tier troops of all. Dol Guldur do have Khamul's Shadow Knights. Interesting. And the Shadow Guard, the Shadow Bowman, and Khamul is one of the only ring wraiths that we know of that has a name. I think we might know another. Let me just check. Yep, no, but it looks like we only got Khamul, Shadow of the East. All right. What was that? Dying's Chosen, Found Guard, Glavesman of Alman, Dragon Wrath, Obsidian Knight from Ruin, huh? All right, that's some pretty awesome looking armor. I'm not gonna lie. But let's take a look at the world now. So here we have in Mordor. Here's a straight up, you know, like Gorgoroth. I want to say is the area for here. There's Saragost. If you guys played Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor. Third thing. There's the Black Gate. And there's Minas Morgul. Here's a Nirn. And the Sea of Nirn right there. Lithlod, I want to say should be like around here, maybe? So I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure, like, yeah, like Lithlod should be somewhere around here, but the Sea of Nirn, this place looks like, obviously, it's lush, it's got green. If only we could create our own, like, castle and such. I remember that being a promised feature back when Bannerlord was announced, and, well, that never happened. But yeah, so we have Osgiliath, Minas Tirith, Dol Amroth here. I know of Dol Amroth with Prince Imrahil, one of my favorite characters from the side stuff that we don't really know much about, but he seems like a cool guy. And I've been, you know me, I always ask questions typically when it comes to for the first few episodes of whenever we are in a new series, especially if we're in a new like fandom. So here's a question for you guys in this one, and I might have asked this obviously in like our Galadriel series or of our Dwarf series. What's like your favorite location? You know, like what is your favorite like city in Silmarillion, Lord of the Rings, anywhere? If you like Minas Tirith, if you like Gondolin, the Shires, Helm's Deep, all that. I'll be honest, Gondolin is a close second of mine. I've always liked Osgiliath. Like, I like the fact that it's just this one city just divided by two with the bridges and the river going through. I always liked it. Reminds me of Constantinople or Istanbul, you know. Minas Tirith I've always also liked. I do remember one of my professors years ago talking about how this Minas Tirith in the movie, so obviously what this one is based on, it looks like, is very terrible for sieges. Like, it's a good city, I guess, to live in and everything, but not good for sieging. And I suppose from what we see in the movie, it's kind of true. If it was from like the books, there'd be a black gate here that goes above like this front gate. But I like the design of it. I like the ring section of the city and how it's different tiers. I don't know. I just always liked it. The design. Osgiliath I've always liked. Gondolin as well. If you've seen fan pictures and everything like that, we've never actually obviously seen it. Edoras, Grimslade, Grimsburg, Karis, Galadon. Move over here. Here's Orthanc. Orthanc's also pretty cool. I'm gonna say, big old ring. I'll be honest, I don't think I'd want to live in the tower. It does seem a little uncomfortable. but it is pretty cool, I will say. Wolf's Cleft, or more of a I know I just saw it. Where was it? There it is. Helm's Deep. Where else? We gotta go find Rivendell. Come on, Min. Come on, where is Rivendell? Am I missing it? Golbul, Melui. Because we have Karas Galadon, Dol Guldur. Could have sworn like Rivendell supposed to be like around here. Oh, that is all right. Never mind. This is Rivendell. I was like, it should be like here, but I've never heard of it being Golbel Melui, but that's probably just me. And yeah, Elrond nos Peredhel. So Elrond, half elven, who is pretty awesome, I will say. Shouldn't have a beard, since you know most elves don't have beards. I think the only elf that has a beard is Círdan. Or is it Círdan or Círdan? I've always called him Círdan, but the shipwright. And then his wife, and his sons Elladan and Elrohir, and then Arwen. Yeah, it's good to know that Celebrian? I don't think it's ever pronounced. And so I've always just gone off vibes, is around. So there's that. Aw. They gotta put in her family. Gotta put in her mom Galadriel and her dad Celeborn. Because that's always been funny that you know, obviously Galadriel's Elrond's mother-in-law. We have Elladan here. And then his twin brother. Oh, I do like how it notes that it's twin. Elrohir. And then Otterwin Evenstar. Reputation of being gallant. Yeah, no, definitely. So, who else is around? There's, I'm assuming, Galadriel, Lady of Lothlorien. Celeborn, Lord of Lothlorien. Should have Celebrian here. And then there's Khamûl. Khamûl, what happened to your face? Well, what kind of friends you got? Vargul the High, Warlord of Khand. Wolf. Brennan Wolf the Iron Hand. Barzog. Wolfram. Oh man, is your boss not your friend? The Witch King's not on there. Grima. I'm assuming that's Grima Wormtongue. He's got a couple orcs that he does not like. Okay. No family, obviously. So then I wonder if we went to Minas Morgul, Witch King of Angmar. Yep, no family. Leader of the Nazgul. And I want to be honest, I think Minas Morgul has always been a bit of a letdown. It's supposed to be the twin city of Minas Anor, which is obviously Minas Tirith. So like Minas Tirith was, I think, the city of the sun, and Minas Morgul was the city of the moon. But I don't know. I've always thought any images we've seen of Minas Morgul has always been more of a letdown. What was it? It was Minas Honor and Minas. All right, now it's gonna bug me. Ithil, Minas Ithil. It's been a while since I played Shadow of War. That's where we get most of our images and stuff from it, I suppose. But I mean, it's not bad. It's just kind of like a very smaller version of Minas Tirith. You got. It doesn't help that the evil green glow is here, so it kind of looks like it's flooding. But all right. Pelargir. Alright. I'm on Ethel Imlad, Tharbrand. And then there's Dol Amroth. Yeah, Pelargir is a port city. I kind of like it. Gives me Osgiliath vibes divided between all this. Probably like, also like Venice. Although, granted, I've never seen Venice from above, so who knows. Alright, well there's everything we know, and then here's the rest of the world. Umbar, I want to say, is down here, about here. This area. And the Haradrim. The Easterlings and all of them. Umbar, I think, is like here. Part of the Harad, yeah. And then you. The Black Tide, which is part of Umbar, yep. And then. That's Khand then, so that's. That, and you are part of Rune. Okay. Mate, when it's CK3, it's so much easier to figure out where things are. Here's all the dwarf stuffs. Lake Town. And then Lake Town. So we have Lake Town and Lake Town. Then there's Dale, and then there's Erebor, which... Yeah, alright. Erebor is also pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie on that one. Thranduil's Halls. Withered Overlook. Akal Gund. Gundabad Fortress and Mount Gundabad. Was what we were going for in our dwarf CK3 series, which we did get after we slew a Balrog and took Moria for our own. Speaking of which, I'm curious. No, I don't see Moria, so there is that. And I'm gonna bet that the Shire is not around. Yeah. That would make sense. But there we go. So, here we go. Start of a new series. Like that. And yeah, so we have our idea of us escaping from Mordor and just going after orcs and all this. I mean, we've been raised here, and we're like, say, we are from like, you know, Nern. And obviously our parents and were enslaved and blah, blah, blah. Did grow up to just be another body in the masses of the, you know, of the war machine. But now we've taken our freedom in our hands. Now it's just time for us to escape from Mordor and then come back. But until then, leave any of the comments and suggestions and any other interesting tidbits if you want, the answers to the questions I asked. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Leave anything else down below. Leave a like if you like, leave a dislike if you dislike, but tell me why, and I shall see you all later.